Okay. Hello, jewelry fans. Today I'm going to answer a question. I get asked this a lot. And it's, why history? You know, all the things you could choose inspiration from, why history? I mean, a lot of jewelers use nature. You see that a lot. I mean, it's flowers and leaves and tree branches and, heck, the joke now, put a bird on it. Birds, even insects. I mean, so many artists have used nature, and a lot of people are just like, well, I'm just going to go with some cool geometric designs, and there's so much everything, limits of human imagination. Why do you look at the past? Which, that is a really good question. First and foremost, I just love history. I mean, given the choice between the current New York bestseller and a history book, I'm gonna read a history book. I mean, that's no question for me. I'm gonna read a history book, and I'm going to take copious notes while I do it. I love history. It fascinates me. I mean, how people lived, what they did, what they wore, what they ate, that sort of thing. It's just, I think it's amazing. Because I know what it's like now, and I'm going to know what it's like in the future, but I don't know what it was like then. I mean, the simple fact that today a lot of people are relearning how to make, as I have some foodie friends, they're like, wow, I just learned how to make soup from a bone. Make my own broth. Wow. Admittedly, I'm like, you didn't know that, but that's how my grandma makes soup. That's how soup was done. And that's how I learned soup. How to make soup. You put the bones in the pot, you boil it, that sort of thing. But that's knowledge that was kind of lost for a long time, and now it's coming back. And it's almost the same with like knitting and crocheting. People are learning how to weave and do all this sort of cool dyeing, and all these things are starting to come back, and I love it. It's like ancient knowledge. Here it comes. And I love history. I know this stuff. I love history. So yeah, it's always fascinated me, and one of the, you can't help but notice when you read the history books, what do we have of them? Well, we don't have a lot of houses. Most of those are gone. We might have like, a series of low walls, or clearly this hole had a post put in it at some point. It probably held up a roof, we think. It could have been a fence. I'm pretty sure it was a house, since they're kind of like a little square and they're this big. There's a lot of conjecture. And very educated guesses in this conjecture. But we don't have a lot of buildings. We don't, with a few rare exceptions, don't really have a lot of the food they ate. We do have a lot of little bits of pots, but was this a bowl for eating? Was this for drinking from? Was this from... Again, with some exceptions, we don't really know exactly what this thing held. It takes a lot of science to examine, well, is there contents? Can we scrape them? Can we run them through a machine and it can tell us, can analyze it? We can say, well, it probably held beer because it had this sort of evidence of these things. And it takes a lot to just get that little bit, like, what was in this jar? Seriously, what did this thing hold? It takes a lot of work just to figure that out. Whereas, to me, I love this, we have so much jewelry left. And again, my favorite book. I'm just going to open a random page. Probably one of the most famous pieces of Celtic jewelry ever. The Snet is from Tor. You see it in a museum, it's big. And it's pretty obvious, it goes around your neck. And when you look at it, you're like, oh, that goes around your neck. That's the only place it could go, is around your neck. And we can look at carvings, things like, oh, here's some dudes wearing it around their neck. Cool. And I love that we have there's a lot of resources to tell us exactly how things were worn, but for the most part, a lot of times we can look at jewelry and we know what it is. It's a ring. A ring is a ring is a ring. Let's see if I can find a ring. Ooh, beautiful necklaces. You like jewelry? Buy this book. Seriously. Found a beautiful Egyptian necklace. You look at it in the ground, given the length, given how it is, like, oh, that's a necklace. It could have been a bit of a festoon type ornament like the Vikings had, but in general we know it went up here. There's all the rings. Look at all those rings. Rings. We know those are rings. If any one of these rings were put into a box and handed to us as a gift, we'd open up and immediately try it on our fingers. We know what it is. So which is one of the reasons, again, I love jewelry, is it's universal. Every culture in history that I've ever heard of and that I've even looked at has had some form of jewelry. I mean, even cultures we don't have the name for. Yeah, think Neolithic, back when we're hitting rocks together to make things. There was jewelry then. They've dug up the graves of dogs. Dogs. Now, again, think, they buried their pets, which, oh, that's so nice. We haven't changed. In the graves of their dogs, they found dogs with beaded collars. I mean, the dog has a beaded collar. All these graves, people are wearing jewelry. Children. I just find a kid's grave, but graves of children. Little tiny bracelets. Little tiny bracelets. The tragedy of Pompeii and Herculaneum, they found, Herculaneum especially, they've found a few examples of Roman skeletons, by the way. Mostly they practice cremations. We don't have a lot of Roman bodies, but Herculaneum does have them. But everyone, jewelry. There is even slaves would wear jewelry. A bit of it was, to say, well, I'm so rich, look what I can do. So rich. But they would say, sometimes they would get money, and they'd save up, they'd buy themselves something nice. Some jewelry they could wear. And, yeah, let's say it's universal, and everyone wears it, even Neolithic dogs. And it's so personal, too. I think that's the reason I love jewelry, and I love historical jewelry, is that this is something someone wore, and they probably loved it. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe it was handed down from, I have here my grandpa's ring, handed down. Thing's almost 100 years old, I've been told. I know, I'm going to hand this thing down. Yeah, it's something that's handed down and it's cherished, it's not like you find a bunch of arrowheads, Yes, they were used, yes, someone made them, yes, someone put thought and care into producing this thing, but, and yeah, you probably would not want to lose really good bronze arrowheads, but it's not something, you're going to be like, oh, look, this was your great-grandfather's arrowhead. No. No. Yeah, it's maybe like the bow, but not the arrowhead. Again, everyone has jewelry. It's so personal. Everyone's been wearing jewelry since before recorded history. Whether it's a stone, a stone with a natural hole in it. I was like, hey, just put that on a piece of leather and there you go. Now you have a necklace. Or it's a shell. Maybe you're making ceramic beads. But yeah, it's universal. And it's timeless. It's been around forever. As long as there have been humans. I wouldn't be surprised if I found research saying, well, even Neanderthals had jewelry. I would not be surprised in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't. Maybe there's research out there, I just haven't read it yet. I don't know. I have to look. But yeah, it's universal, it's everywhere, and I look at the jewelry of the past and I just can't believe, like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. And some of it isn't practical. Like, you know, the big Egyptian pectorals that were all gold and they probably weigh, you know, an ungodly amount. Wearing them would actually probably be physically tiring. So, you know, when I look at the museum case and I want it, it's like, can't do that, you go to jail. Yeah, no. No, no, no. Not gonna do a heist. I can make it. So, that's the thing is, I love history. Jewelry is one of the few things we have that comes from everywhere. And again, why history? I love it. I love it. And I look at what we have left of it, and we do have a lot of jewelry. And it's beautiful then, it's beautiful now. So I'm just gonna take it out of the case, as it were, and make it so, you know, I can wear it. This is Roman. Right there, Roman. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Guess the favorite culture. Guess what my favorite ancient culture is? Yeah, Roman. Well, 80s. Roman Britain. So, yeah. I love it. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one.